It's Pure Boys, you know, Shakaroni Obama, and Johnothon Toilets now, watching all the movies that I miss. I'm talking about God. I lick you boom boom down. It's Pure Boys, you know, Shakaroni Obama, and Johnothon Toilets now, watching all the movies that I miss. I'm talking about God. I lick you boom boom down. Yahweh! What's up, Fudge Packers? Welcome to Pure Boys Podcast.
Yeah, that came out flat, Fudge Packers, but I'm here for you, and I'm willing to review the movie that we're going to review.
Nobody is here at gunpoint. We are all here with our own consent and our own permission, and Yahweh.
Could you call what we do reviewing?
Could you call what we do good in any way, shape, or form?
Well, yes, Queen.
That's for the courts to decide. But
yeah, I have fun.
I have fun. And you know what? That's all that matters, really.
Well, let's do the prayer.
Wow, we're just sprinting right into it. Well, first of all, I'm Zacaroni Obama. Nice to meet you.
No, I think we should have prayed first.
All right. God bless,
our
podcast. God bless all podcasts. We love you. I'm
presented, of course, by
Allstate. What?
Allstate.
What's Allstate? What did you say? Presented?
What is Allstate?
What is Allstate?
I said presented by, and then I shot to you.
Oh, all right. Let's take it again.
Okay. Welcome to Pure.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Zacaroni Obama. All right.
And I'm Johnothon Toilet Toilet, coming in hot.
Yeah, he's coming in you hot, is what he said.
Yeah.
This guy's the definition of half man, half drugs today, as Puff Daddy would say.
I disagree. I think I'm floating above the norm.
Black, what happened?
What?
You know, blood boys for life, you know?
I do know, but I can't.
Do you remember the song Welcome to Atlanta remix with Jermaine Dupri and Puff Daddy and Nelly? And do you remember that song?
I don't know if I remember it per se.
It came out not long after, like maybe 2 years after, maybe a year after 9/11, maybe even like the summer after. And in Puff Daddy's verse, which is all about Welcome to New York, he threatens terrorists that they're going to build 4 more towers. That's what he says.
And they only built one.
They only built one. And Puff Daddy, he's out there pointing at Osama bin Laden going, we're building 4 more new towers.
They should have, though. The old America totally would have.
Where would they have put them?
On the ground.
There was room
and then
for
you
2.
Build upwards.
There was room for 2. And then you can't give me more in less space.
Your freaking America just put down some other buildings and relocate them to New Jersey or something.
That's a good point.
And build 4 freaking towers. I'm surprised they didn't build 6.
It would have been great if they just started piling garbage in the harbor and they're like, once that garbage is solidified into an island, we're building 4 towers on that island. We needed the space, so we had to build a new island. This is now the 6th borough or whatever, and it's just, I don't know, Liberty Island or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, 4-tower island.
The 4-tower kid, yeah, of course.
Would it float from place to place, or would it be isolated like other stupid boroughs made out of trash?
It would be cool if the 4 Towers Island floated around and you look out your window and sometimes you see the 4 towers and sometimes you don't see any towers and you go, well, que sera, sera.
Yeah, and you could go on vacation on the island and it'll just float around New York for you.
Yeah, it's a cruise. It'll go down to, come on down to Haiti. Bring those 4 towers on down to Haiti.
Could you imagine how big the turbines would be? Whew.
Oh my God, what kind of business would be done in those towers? What kind of business was done in the Twin Towers? Why are we a 9/11 podcast? When did that happen? I feel like every episode since 9/11 happened, we've talked a lot about 9/11.
There's a lot to bring up. Maybe we haven't had the correct platform to really get our true thoughts. Building 4 towers.
Do we need to do a Pure Boys Rip to the Tits 9/11 spectacular? Do we need to get just really, really ripped and just talk 9/11 for 45 minutes and get it out of our system?
I don't do drugs.
I am drugs.
Rip to the tits. the Rip to the Tits other spectacular we did is doing well on YouTube.
It is, yeah. People see drugs and they go, hey, I'll check that out. And then they listen to it and go, it's not really like, they're not really
I don't know.
They're not really that on drugs in this. They're fine.
Yeah, we're straight as heck. That's for sure.
That's right. Gang.
We should get markers and put X's on our hands to show how straight edge we are.
How great would that be to just like define yourself as straight edge, but then just do drugs all the time? And if people get mad, just go, only God can judge me. I don't care.
Well, we do perform on God's favorite podcasts.
That's true. He's told us he lit my bush on fire, and out of that burning bush, he went, I love your podcast. Keep up the good work. And I was like, why are you talking like that? Talk like a person.
He would destroy you in chess. I wish they kind of played chess in that movie.
I know we're not here to talk about... Oh, gee, we haven't even talked about what we're here to talk about. But we're not here to talk about 2018's An Interview with God. We're here to talk about 2018's SAMSON.
SAMSON SIMPSON. My mind went right there immediately.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You mean
2018.
It went right here. Year. Did it go right here?
SAMSON SIMPSON.
I stick by my story.
I stick by my story. If I wasn't Tom Hanks's son, would I wear this hat?
Did you think about the song at all, or just that line?
What's the song?
Well, I want to talk to Samson. Fly up to that moon like that. You know, I don't know what the rest of the words are.
I don't know that song. Honestly, I've seen Half Baked many times, but I don't remember that song. I do remember SAMSON SIMPSON, but that's all I remember.
Because he's the drug dealer and he's doing a commercial for his business. But oh no, the rapper. Anyways, that is not good podcast.
We're here to talk about 1994's Half Baked.
Yeah.
No, we're here to talk about 2018's Pureflix original, SAMSON. The story of Samson and Delilah, the dumbest idiot that God ever put his faith in.
Is that the tagline?
That's the tagline I'm giving it. That's the tagline I'm writing to David A.R. White and demanding he add to the poster. He produced this movie.
Oh, yeah, he had to produce it. Once he got the script on his table and he read the first couple of pages, done.
He was like, how buff is this guy going to be? They were like, super buff. And he's like, are we ever going to see it? And they went, not really. We're not really going to show off his body the way we should, but oh well.
But when we do see it, are we going to dehydrate his body as much as possible and then put makeup on so he pops?
And they go, yeah, of course. We want him. I don't want to watch this movie and not think about how much of a headache that guy has all the time because he has no water in his system.
Do you think he was just sitting there in scenes like, hey, can I take my shirt off? Because I am dying for this bod right now.
And they're like, sure, I guess. I mean, no one's looking, but I guess if you need to.
Yeah.
Here's a fun game when you go to next time you go to a bodybuilding competition or anything like that where people get yoked and then they show off their body. Think about how awful those people feel in that moment. Like this is the crowning achievement of their workout career, and they just want to die while they're up there. Like they feel like absolute garbage, and it's very funny. It puts everything in a new light when you think about it like that. It's a lot more fun.
Like they are just on the brink of collapsing and maybe never being able to wake up again.
If they don't,
because
they've just deprived themselves of nutrients and water, mostly water. It's like you can live a while without eating. You can't live very long without drinking. You need water. You capital N need water. You lowercase n need food. But water, oh boy, if you don't have it, you're toasties.
And with science and math nowadays, they can calculate what you need on a milliliter basis. So you're just totally on the brink of dying. It's all science. It's ruined society, I think.
Well, here's the thing. We need to get away from science and get more into Christian science, which is the belief that God does science.
Yeah. God does science, and he also does science, which I will never get rid of in my life.
Oh, God, no. I can't start a day without cracking a nice cold science.
I chug science so much. It's ridiculous in the morning.
Is there a better energy drink than science? Survey says no. It's the best.
Red Bull, get the F out of here. Stop being in a bunch of alternative sports and give science a lead.
Oh, no, I disagree with that. I would say, Red Bull, pull your drink off the market and just focus on your extreme sports. That's where your money is.
I mean, you're right, but it's weird that the drink still funds all that stuff.
I guess, hey, like, is that really what? No. Is it really just from drink sales that they can build a Rube Goldberg for a drifting car to knock down?
Yeah.
Wow.
And more insane stuff. Like, they do insane stuff all the time. And it's because they have this billion-dollar industry in the juice market.
Imagine if, like, that's such a cool thing. Like, Red Bull, despite making the worst energy drink on the market, Zion's obviously being the top, Red Bull being the bottom, is like, they're the coolest company out there in any field. Nobody else is doing the cool things that Red Bull's doing.
I don't think we would see a lot of the crazy sports that we do if it wasn't for Red Bull.
We wouldn't see a guy jump from the edge of the stratosphere if it wasn't for Red Bull.
I think we would have seen that. Science would have stepped up on.
For sure. They would have sent, like, I don't know, Chuck Liddell up there, and he'd have been like, oh, good luck to me, I guess.
I'm going to elbow slam the world.
Oh, man. And we'll talk about wrestling during this Samson review. You better believe that.
Will we?
Oh, yeah.
Is it related at all?
Uh-huh. Samson's got some hilarious wrestling tendencies that I absolutely lovey, so...
I never saw it.
I never watched the movie either. Before we get to 2018's Pureflix original SAMSON SIMPSON, we need to do everyone's favorite segment on the show.
The Kevin Sorbo Tweet of the Week.
All right. Well... we are definitely giving this to you live. The tweet of the day is, the media is the enemy of the people. September 22nd, 12:39 p.m.
Oh, a lunchtime dump. All right.
Yeah, he was probably thinking about society a little bit more when he was taking a dump at noon.
Yeah, he was watching the news on his phone, and he was like, oh my God. Why am I watching Al Jazeera News? I hate this news. This is the enemy of the people.
I love to hate this news, though.
I love to hate it.
Yeah. The media is the enemy of the people.
Wow. Thanks, Kevin. Damn, Kevin. The whole media?
Yeah, every media.
Like, I would agree that, like, the major news sources are the enemy of the people, for sure. They're all corporate-owned, bullshit spewers. Fine. This is not a political podcast. But, like, is, like Marvel movies, are those the enemy of the people?
Yeah, and his movies?
No, his movies are not the enemy of the people. They don't fall under media. They're Christian media, which means that they're a lesser media, so they don't really affect... His movies are propaganda.
He said the media, though.
Yeah, but Christian cinema isn't the media. Christian cinema is propaganda. It's a different thing. It's classified under a different header.
Hey, man, it's all stars and stripes as far as I'm concerned.
Word up, man. It's like Christian...
Listen to your heart.
And smell your own farts.
Yeah.
Christian media is right up there with, like, Donald Duck beating up Japanese people in the 40s in his cartoons. That's what it's right. It's right up there with that. Hitting Hitler in the butt with a wooden paddle. That's what it's up there with.
Fun.
Yeah, real goofy, wacky stuff.
Stuff for kids.
Why didn't Goofy star in any, like, racist old shorts? Why was it only Donald who's, like, embroiled in that stuff? It makes me think that Donald Duck is racist in real life.
Well, it was a period of time, and I think all they had was Donald.
That was the first Disney character, a duck with no pants.
There was super racist Mickey, and then less, but also racist Donald.
Yeah, there was Mickey, whose original designs were based on minstrel shows, obviously, and then they went, well, give us a duck with a shirt and no pants instead. And they went, all right, good enough. Can he be Lily White? And they went, as the driven snow, thank you.
That's a beautiful sentiment.
Thank you. Kevin, great as always. Thanks for being the voice of the people.
We love you.
We love you. Yeah, we love you.
Sounds like communist talk to me.
I'll say.
I'll stay.
Watching 2018's Pureflix original SAMSON, it really drove home, like, how do I put this?
religious you want to be.
Yeah, but also how much like strength has changed, if that makes sense, since like the 90s. If you think back to Kevin Sorbo's Hercules show, he's like he has the body of like a high school football coach. Like he's like in shape, but he's not like, he doesn't look like the son of a god. Like Samson is a freaking...
Well, his face did.
Well, of course it did. Yeah, he was very handsome.
He didn't need no body.
But
unlike The Rock.
It's kind of what Hercules is known for, is his rock and bod, right?
I think it's more so his strength.
Yeah, which comes from his rock and bod.
Nah, you don't need... If you have god strength, you don't have to have guns.
Well, and also, it doesn't matter how jacked you are. If you lose god strength, you're as weak as a friggin' kitten, apparently. Even with your giant muscles, you can't even do anything from the looks of it.
Or your giant hair, or your giant teeth.
Oh, or all your great wigs and fake beards.
Those beards are so fake.
The beards,
They're
hair.
so bad.
This movie, okay. I want to get this out of the way right now. Last week, I hated the movie we watched last week. An Interview with God.
I loved it.
This week, I friggin' loved Samson. From minute one, I was like, I'm in, and I'm never getting out. It's playing in my home right now. I'm never stopping watching Samson.
Like you weren't on your phone a bunch?
No, I didn't go I went on my phone once to look up like the IMDb for the movie, to just kind of look at the players and see if there's any trivia. There isn't really any trivia, but I wanted to see what other stuff the director had directed. The answer is nothing but shorts other than this. He directed a bunch of short
that
films.
That was really funny.
Yeah,
like they gave him a lot of money to do this.
Oh yeah. And he was like, I just want to direct shorts about sex trafficking instead. And they were like, make this Samson movie first, please.
This Samson movie? We got to get Billy Zane.
Oh, well, if we're jumping right into it, then yes, Billy Zane is in this movie, and it was like,
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I was blown away. I saw him and went, is that Billy Zane looking fat as hell? What happened, Billy?
Well, I didn't watch a trailer for this at all. I went based off the poster of this movie. To agree to do it, and had no idea Billy frickin' Zane, and he comes up on the titles, and I was blown away.
Yeah, like what a get. What a friggin' get, Pureflix. You had Billy Zane in the pocket, and you didn't bring him into Malibu Dan, the Family Man, or, like, you had...
To star in Malibu Dan?
You have Billy Zane's phone number now, Pureflix. Call him up. Do things with him. Billy Zane is the man.
I want them to do a shot-for-shot remake of Malibu Dan, the Family Man, but with Billy Zane.
Malibu Zane, the Family Zane, yeah.
That's insane.
Malibu Zane! But yes.
Well, if we ever have a religious Billy Zane month, we can use that theme song.
I mean, we could have one. He could have us anytime.
Yeah, but does he have enough cachet?
I don't know if he's got the grease for it, Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You're looking off into the distance.
Sorry, guys. I just got a buck wild text on my phone. What in the hell is this? So I got this text from a number that I do not know, that I'm just going to read it because it's utter nonsense.
Okay, can you read it?
Yes. Every letter in this text has like an accent aigu on it. So I don't know how to exactly read it all, but it goes like this. Hey, are you Clay? It's Taylor. We messaged on Tinder last time I went up to come see my grandma, but we never connected for drinks. I'm back in town for now. If you want to truly meet up while I'm here, are you open to that?
Yeah, that sounds good, dude.
I want to text them back and just say, no. I want to FaceTime them. Should I call this number? Should I call these people live on the show?
As soon as you reply or call that number back, they got your money.
You're right about that. Yeah, you're right. I should just, But what a compliment. Someone wants to meet me for drinks. Clay.
Well, and they're gonna try to meet the real you. Was that a part of it?
They want to truly meet up for drinks this time.
Oh, truly meet up for drinks.
I came up here to visit my grandma.
And you hate truly going out for drinks.
Yeah, plus I only want to date grandmas. Give me your grandma's number, Angel, or whatever the hell your name was.
Grandma pick, please.
Grandma pick. Hey, Taylor. Clay wants to date your grandma. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to completely derail the show. That was very exciting to get an absolute trash garbage text with no links in it or anything. Just a text written by an Egyptian robot from the looks of it.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a robot.
Oh, for sure it was. Oh yeah. Anyway, yes. Billy Zane is in this movie. But
Billy freaking Zane.
Not only is Billy freaking Zane in this movie, Blade Runner's Rutger Hauer is in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
prominent role.
Kind of. In a role, yes.
Yeah.
But most exciting, for me anyway, that's right, Cowgirls and Angels' own Jackson Rathbone is back. He's in another Christian movie, and I didn't know that going into this, and I was psyched to see his name pop up. And he plays...
Who is...
Jackson Rathbone's the main villain in this. He plays Billy Zane's son.
No, that's not Jackson Rathbone.
Yeah, that's Jackson Rathbone. That's Don't Date Kansas in the Sweethearts of the Rodeo's boyfriend, Jackson Rathbone.
Are you sure we saw this dude?
Jackson yeah, he's the guy. He's Prince or Lord, whatever the hell. Prince Waller. The guy who gets his eye
from Twilight.
Yeah, that's Jackson Rathbone. Yeah.
I don't know who this guy is.
Yes, you do. We watched Cowgirls and Angels 1. You've seen him at least in that.
Yeah, but what did he do in that? Oh, he was just that dude.
Yeah, he's the guy who was trying to rail Kansas. That's who that guy was. Yeah.
Now I know what we're dealing with.
Thank God. Thank you, God.
Jackson Rathbone, back at you.
Jackson Rathbone, getting a lot of screen time in this movie. Getting more screen time than Billy Zane, that's for sure.
And I feel like the director just kept telling him to go for it. Enunciate.
Bug your eyes out more.
I want you to bug out your eyes more, but also close them really hard when you do close them. Don't blink. Close.
I want to hear your eyes snap shut when you blink.
And he took every note of it.
Oh, of course he did. Of course he did.
What's going on at the beginning of this movie? Is it a heist?
We open in 1170 BC in ancient Israel.
Yeah.
And we meet a bunch of jabronis who worship Dagon, who, I don't know what that means. What is Dagon? Yeah, exactly. People who can't appreciate art.
Because I knew that word had a different meaning, so they really, the Israelis really got the Philistines in the end. Now it just means that you're uncultured.
Yeah, now it just means you're a dumb, stupid idiot.
Yeah. I mean, that's really funny historically.
Yeah, it's great. Also, they're called Philistines, but is that a place? Obviously Philistine isn't a place, but are they from Philadelphia? Where is a Philistine from? Or is that kind of and pardon me, all my European listeners out there, but is that a gypsy thing? Are they just a traveling band of people called the Philistines?
I think their name is derived from a specific place, but I looked it up and I don't remember any specifics about it.
Also, my apologies if anyone got offended by me saying the word gypsy. Maybe it's a slur now. I don't know. If it is, please correct me by sending an email to pureboyspod@gmail.com or tweeting at us at pureboyspodcast on Twitter. And let me know what your preferred slur for those kind of people would be.
I just want one email. If you're in Melbourne or there's those German guys out there or ladies.
Yeah.
Send us an email. Say hello. We love you.
Or if you're whatever they call those traveling bands of people who live in caravans, whatever they call those people now, hit us up with an email. Let us know what your favorite way to steal money from people is. And just kidding. Just jokes. It's all jokes. We love you.
Yeah, the Philistines were like a ancient people, and there's just not much about them other than what's written in the Hebrew Bible. So there's
So it
like
was just like,
not really.
so all
Yeah.
basically they're described as a bunch of dumb, stupid idiots who farted a lot and pooped their own pants and just
Yeah.
because it's the
Because
winners.
the winners control history.
Exactly. And they're like, the Philistines were a bunch of dumb idiots who shagged their goats and farted on their own faces all the time and had had big old dingers because back then tiny dingers is what you wanted. So
Yeah, you wanted tiny dingers, and it seemed like they were pretty normal in this movie,
all the ones we saw, yeah, were pretty average size. So,
except for the prince, of course.
well, of course. So there's, from the looks of it, the Sodomites, no, what were they called? The Philistines are like collecting like taxes essentially from this group of people that in the form of like wheat and food and things like
it's
that.
always wheat. It's every
Always.
time wheat.
It's always wheat. Give us all the wheat. Well, except they're stealing like carrots and like rutabaga out of the like storage room. So I don't know what's all in there.
Well, you have to eat other things than wheat, but I think all tax is wheat.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense. Yeah. All tax is wheat. All right.
Every single shot of like a busy street, there's always a carriage that's filled with wheat rolling through.
That's true.
That's how every scene in the street starts with a carriage going by filled with wheat.
That's every transition from scene to scene. A carriage full of wheat just wipes the screen to the next scene.
I'm pretty sure it happens at least 4 to 6 times in this movie.
Maybe, yeah. Well, anyway, Samson's a little scamp who's helping his brother sneak into this room to steal, I don't know, like corn and wheat and all kinds of stuff. He's luring him in with a rope, which I was confused by. So, like, this temple is underground, is what they're telling us, because when Samson gets caught, he's just in the street, like lowering his brother through like a sewer grate, it looks like. So where is this temple? Like, did they dig it out underground? Seems kind of useless to do that.
Well, you gotta keep the rutabagas cold, so you build them down.
You're right. You're right. You got to keep your rutabagas cold.
Yep.
I learned my new favorite way to get someone's attention thanks to this movie. From now on, I will be addressing everyone by going, "Hey, Hebrew."
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that
It's
was
the correct thing to say.
It's a
We're all
funny
Hebrews.
It's a funny thing to yell at somebody. Hey, Hebrew.
We've all been there.
Yeah, you've seen a person walking around that you want to just yell "Hey, Hebrew" at as you drive by.
We're all derived from Hebrews. There's no way around it.
Wait a minute. That's Samson, the Hebrew strongman from the pits.
That's such a line from a comic or something.
Right? I love stuff like that in movies. Like, I can't remember if it was it I don't know. I was watching something. Shoot, what was it? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I was watching something, and this girl was on the phone with like her sister, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I mean, considering I had that miscarriage 2 months ago, blah 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 blah." It's like, why would you say that? Like, it just they, like, when people just state stuff just for the audience, but it's like, well, you already know it, and like your sister already knows it. Just pointless lines that are just there for the viewer. That always amuses me.
It's so much exposition that it hurts. Like, it just like it so explicitly tells you what's happening in this story that like I didn't need that. I don't think most people, but kids are watching, and you want to really get Samson home to the kids, even though I think this was PG-13.
Whoa. Well, sure. There is more murder in this movie than I've seen in any movie before.
I think any movie, and I watched 300, and I think they cut away for most of the murders. This one shows all of it.
There's some real 300 vibes in this movie too, especially at the end when like the brothers rallying the troops together. I think my last note. Let me just check here real quick.
Or the middle where they play a scene from 300.
This is my second last note. My second last note in all caps is, "Tonight we dine in hell," because that's pretty much what the brother yells at one point.
Yeah, you have to be 13 or over for this one for sure.
You got to be 13 going on 30. Absolutely. So, SAMSON SIMPSON is the Hebrew strongman from the pits, which, figure that out. He's from Pittsburgh. And
that tells you basically the whole story that's going to happen throughout this movie.
Pretty much, yeah. What do we need to know about Samson? He's a strong man and he can fight. Okay, great. Yeah. Is he smart? No. He's the dumbest man alive. He's so stupid, guys. He's the stupidest person ever.
And everybody in his village talks about him like he is the stupidest man too. I mean, like, he's given us so much salvation, but
if only he could string a sentence together. If only if he would just stop chasing Philistine women or whatever.
If he could just stop almost taking the virtue from our sisters and daughters.
There is that part where he walks up to all those ladies and goes like, "Good morning, ladies. What do we have here?" And the one lady goes, "Oh, these are me yabos, me lord."
Gush.
He goes, "Gush."
He says gush a lot. He brought it back for male.
Here's the thing. Well, he invented it, but more to your point, not only does he say gush a lot, he says nice a lot. Like when he's murdering people, he's going nice, nice, nice. just crushing people's heads with his bare hands, going nice. I feel
like that was for the video game that was going to come out.
I feel like he was just making noises. Like you hear about when they were filming like the Star Wars prequels that they had to tell the people playing the Jedis not to make lightsaber sounds when they were like fighting each other. And it's the same with Samson. Samson, stop saying nice. That wasn't like a term they used back then, said David A.R. White on set one day.
That's the kind of fact that makes me think free will doesn't exist, is the making the lightsaber noises automatically.
What do you think about the guy who plays Samson?
I think he is very attractive on IMDb. This movie kind of makes him very skeletal in the face. And of course, our faces are made out of skeletons. But
when you put it like that, how can I deny you? I'm not Peter.
It's crazy angular to the point of like alienation.
Yeah, he looks like he wakes up and eats human growth hormone for breakfast. Like his eyebrow ridge sticks out like 2 inches over his eyes. His cheek. He looks like when you can create a character in a video game and you just move all the sliders to the right as big as they'll go, and then they just have giant cheekbones that clip off the skin and huge eyebrows. That's exactly what he looks like.
I was surprised how normal he looked when I looked him up on IMDb.
Yeah, I think this is his first starring role, too. He'd been in other movies before this, but just as, like, featured extra or bodyguard or whatever. But this was his first, like, movie that he carried on his very muscular shoulders. And honestly, I think he did a pretty good job for what the movie is.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he acted quite well. His scenes come off very believable. His first fight was with this huge monster man that is bigger and probably stronger than him, but you're not going to get the role of Samson because you look like piss and you probably can't act.
That's what the director said to him. You look like piss and you probably can't act. He was like, I don't know what that first part means, but how dare you for the second part?
So that's a no to Samson then?
But yes to giant Egyptian. I think that's what he was saying, that they came from Egypt to like fight people.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
It does sound fun. We get introduced to Jackson Rathbone's character, Prince Waller or Wellar. He's hilarious in this movie. He's such a little dog to people, like a guy they're there collecting taxes from Samson's village. Samson isn't there at the time. And, like Tobias, this old man, walks up and is like, please, just leave us some of the food. It sits in your stables and goes rotten and gets moldy. Please leave us some food. And Jackson Rathbone goes, you know what? I've heard this man's pleas. I declare from henceforth, Tobias shall never go hungry again. And everyone goes, and then they just murder Tobias. They just stab him to death. And that made me laugh pretty hard because it was like, what did you think he was going to do, guys?
He's a crappy prince that has had everything given to him his entire life, and he wants power beyond belief, and he's going to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, and
He's got to make a point to his father that he's in charge now.
Well, not yet, but one day, maybe many years later.
Oh, we'll talk about that scene in depth.
Oh yeah, yep.
Probably not, because usually when we get to the end, we just kind of like,
Yeah, get it done. We're out of energy by the end. Yeah. So there's this weird transition where Samson and his brother are coming back from the village, and it cuts to them, and Samson's going, "You wish, little brother." And all I could think was like, what's that in response to? What were they talking about leading up to that? What was his brother saying? Like, I'm sure it was something like, "I wish I could be as strong as you," and he was like, "Haha, you wish, little brother." But it's just like, what was he responding to? I just need to know, Samson.
You can only assume strength and prowess and charm with the ladies.
Yeah. Or, I mean, honestly, they were probably just saying watermelon back and forth to each other.
Yeah. I'm jealous of you.
Yeah, watermelon.
Do you think they knew what a watermelon was?
Oh, not back then. No, oh my God. No way. No way.
You didn't think they got them flown in from Egypt?
Flown in
on
from
an eagle
Japan
or something?
They'd put them in you get those square watermelons from Japan. Samson loved that stuff.
You tie a bunch of eagles together and you hope it gets to the right place.
Break down your plan for me. Well, first we're going to tie a bunch of eagles together. Okay, what's step 2? Then
probably by the foot?
We hope they get to where they're going in the end.
Yeah. That's step 2.
And then that's the last step. There's no further steps. Just
you can't have a step after that.
No. I guess send more eagles is step 3 when step 2 doesn't work. I don't know.
Well, you have to have a clock for sure.
Oh, you have to have a clock.
And then you have to have like waves and waves of eagles.
Endless, just a stream of eagles out of your house carrying different things.
But that means you need an eagle supply and a watermelon supply. So you need 2 fields at least.
What's the eagle field for?
Well, so the eagles can do their eagle thing and learn how to eagle.
Learn how to
like
fly.
Maybe trees are in the field.
Oh, so it's a forest. We call that a forest.
Well, no, but it's a field.
I feel like
because you're farming eagles.
I feel like eagles have like a 200-mile territory.
Yeah, it's a big field.
I'll say it's a big one. You might say it's the Gobi Desert.
No, you'd have to have trees.
Well, that's true. Well, maybe back then they did. We don't know.
Okay.
What do you think of Samson's rules? So Samson was gifted strength from God he was chosen by the hand of God to be his vengeance. It's like, all right, well,
but there's rules.
Take it easy, first of all, God. You don't need to create a friggin' monster to go smash. You've killed everyone on the planet before, God. What do you need this buff dude for? You could just do it again. Just kill them all.
But God created a bunch of people and then it went terribly and he flooded everyone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that was Earth.
So now
phase
he had
1.
to create rules.
Right, and then they're going to throw out those rules, some of them anyway. Anyway, this is all before
you have
Jesus.
to have some heroes in the mix to make it interesting.
That's true, but you got to give them really stupid rules to follow so they can definitely screw them up at some point and lose all the power that you've given them. So 3 rules, they're very simple. Rule number 1.
Give me the rules.
I'll give you the rules. Rule number 1. Don't let them eat after midnight. Rule number 2. Don't expose them to sun. And rule number 3, don't get them wet. And those are the 3 rules that Samson has to live by.
Those are not the 3 rules. I really want the normal 3 rules because I swear they changed throughout this movie. I swear one of them differs from the first couple scenes to the last.
The rules are fly strong.
Don't touch the dead.
Fly strong. Fly straight. USA all the way.
All the way.
Those are the rules.
Okay. So one of the rules is you can't touch the dead, and one of the rules is I need my hair.
And one of the rules is don't drink any wine.
Oh, yeah. That's a dumb rule.
All of them are dumb. All of them are dumb. They're the dumbest rules ever. And Samson should have been like, give me something else, God. What? Especially don't touch the dead. What the hell does that mean? Like, how do you know if you've done that or not? Like, what if Samson's dad was dying and he held him in his arms as he died and then he died? Does that now you lose your powers because you were comforting your dad in his final moments? Your rules are dumb, God. You're dumb, God. How's that sound?
Well, I think this leads us into the dinner and then the tunic saga, the next bit of this movie.
Yes, right. We are dragging our heels through this plot. Let's speed it up a little bit. All right. So what's up with this dinner and tunic and, well, wait, we're jumping way ahead here. Hold on. We hasn't even met the woman yet.
She comes to town.
Right. A woman comes to town. Samson falls in love with her. Well, first he's got to fight the Egyptian guy. Right?
She does?
No.
He does.
Samson's got to fight the Egyptian. That's where he sees her for the first time.
Yeah, and then he wins.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love that he, like, challenges this guy to a fight, and he's like, hey, brother, let's fight. You've been beating up all my friends. I'm going to beat you up. Then he sees a beautiful woman, and while this guy's, like, posturing and, like, acting a fool, Samson's just looking at this lady in the crowd being like, I'm going to totally split her in half like a friggin' branch after this. And then he just gets decked in the face as hard as that guy can. It's great.
But he gives it up to God. He knows that God leads him, and he prays to him, and he shakes the ground.
Yeah, this is what I said I want to talk about wrestling. This is what I'm talking about. Samson literally hulks up like he's Hulk Hogan. Like he starts shaking, and then he gets up, and he's just like, and then he beats the hell. He body slams onto the giant. He beats up Egyptian giants. It's amazing.
And God powers activate. He has a ring, and he kisses his ring a lot in every scene. Cuts his mouth on it.
He's always kissing it, telling it how much he loves it. He's like, I wish that my peener was a little bit smaller so I could put this ring on it.
If you were a ring, could I do this? And then he just makes out with his ring all the time.
Hey, would you ever call your dingus your ball peener hammer?
Ball peener hammer?
What about if you called
the whole thing?
What if you called it balls peener hammer?
It sounds cumbersome.
It does.
What if I called my peener balls?
Well, that sounds confusing.
Yeah.
What do you call your balls? Your peeners?
Chairs.
That's fair. I call my balls my dinks, and I call my dink my doink. That's more wrestling.
That's a good first date line.
Hi, I'm Zacharoni Obama. I call my balls my dinks and my dink my doink.
Ooh, I kind of like this guy.
Oh, well. Okay.
Maybe he'll do stuff to me.
Oh, he's a child. Okay, well, he's Milk McLemonade. All right, okay. So yeah, he beats the hell out of this giant and then like threatens to drop a huge rock on him. Like just picks up a boulder the size of like a ox and is just like, I'm gonna crush this guy with it. Everyone's like, Samson, calm your bloodlust.
It is a big enough rock to actually murder a human being. It is huge.
Yeah, I mean any size rock would murder a human being. You could crush a man's skull with a small rock, but this rock
not with like a pebble.
Okay, fair. If you could put it in your hand, if you can hold it and your hand can't wrap all the way around it, you could probably cave someone's head in with it.
It would be really cool if you had a character that could pick up little pebbles and throw them through people's brains.
Oh, my dude. Wait till we get to the end of this movie. I've got just the character for you.
I guess I missed it. Did I watch this movie?
Did you watch this movie through to the end? Did you see the very end of the movie, which got me so hype?
Maybe.
All right, well, we'll get to it. Turns out the Egyptians were like hired by Jackson Rathbone to draw out Samson, but like, and he's like mad at the Egyptian guy because he didn't beat Samson. But like, what do you mean draw Samson out? You know who Samson is. He's the Hebrew strongman from the pits. Yeah.
You know where he lives. You were just at his village to collect taxes.
You were threatening his dad 5 minutes ago. Like, I don't know.
Apparently, you're friendly enough with him to invite him to dinner and celebrate him in your honor or something.
No, that's for the marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Later.
Later. First, we have to get to Billy Zane speaking the truest line I've ever heard in cinema when he goes, "Gods are just symbols with no power." It's like, you're goddamn right, Billy Zane.
I think it's gosh darn right. I don't know if we want to put that on Billy Zane, and he's just acting. He took this role because he wanted to act again.
Yeah, he did Titanic, then he did a bunch of trash for like 20 years, and then he did SAMSON SIMPSON.
Dumb and Dumber type stuff. Like Zoolander.
Yeah,
and
that's
the
true.
other ilk.
Yeah, exactly.
But now he wanted to act.
Samson's parents don't want Samson to beat people up. They want him to become a judge, but it's like
lawyer.
But God gave him the power to beat people up. Like, that's his whole thing. I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum. I'm all out of gum. Like, that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's like a 18-year-old starting pitcher in the MLB. He's just got a hot arm, and he wants to throw it down the center as fast as he can.
But his parents are like, we want you to go to school and get a business degree. And he's like, Mom, I've got like a 200-kilometer fastball. And she's like, yeah, but like, I know God gave you that gift, but just study. Go to school.
At least mix it up with a curveball or a changeup once in a while. Like, you got to save your arm for later in your career.
That's true. You're going to burn yourself out, baby.
Yeah.
I was frustrated watching Samson because he's wearing a shirt for most of this movie, and I want to see those pecs. I want to see those pecs pop around and those traps and those lats, and we don't really get them.
I think it's like an hour later that he finally takes his shirt off, because like a half an hour later in this movie, I have a note that says he hasn't taken his shirt off.
Yeah.
And I was very angry.
Not only does he take his shirt off later, he rips his effing shirt off later. He gets cut by a sword and he goes, time to tear. Like, again, Hulk Hogan rips his shirt off and is just psyched to just beat up the Ultimate Warrior. I loved it.
And there's a few murders in between, I believe.
Oh, yeah, there are so many murders coming up, guys. It's bananas Foster. That's how many murders there are.
Yeah.
He meets up with the girl whose name is like Tang or something like that. I don't know what her name is, but
it's Taryn.
Oh, okay. I got some of the letters. I got half the letters right.
Because when he yells out her name later in the piece, I thought he said Karen. So I had to look it up, and that's why it stuck.
I love that he's like, hey, meet me at first light tomorrow at the beach, because that's like the only time you could tell people to meet you. Like, it was either first light or the end of the day, because everything else is like, meet me when the sun is like, there was no clocks. So people just had to be like, we can only meet at first light or at last light. And that's it, because how else can you tell?
Well, you could go when the sun is peaking.
Oh, peaking.
Midday.
Yeah, that's true.
But other than that, you really couldn't tell at all. And she had to sneak away from her Faja.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And it's, a real Romeo and Juliet type situation, because she's a Hebrew. Oh, no, she's a Philistine, he's a Hebrew.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And she's got a real first... Well, she's got a real first world attitude towards a lot of things in this movie, where she's like, our lives are our own. We can make anything out of it. You're only slaves because you let them treat you like slaves. It's like, okay, first of all, it's way more complicated than that. It's not just a matter of us being like, hey, we don't want to be slaves anymore. It's like, there's a whole system that's been built to keep these people down. You can't just be like, what? Have you ever thought about just not being a slave anymore? And Samson went, oh, I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Or like, yeah, you're a slave, but just don't think of it that way and you won't be a slave. Like, just stay chill about it.
Yeah, be a cool guy and then you won't be a slave.
Yeah. It's only in your head, you idiot.
Yeah, you dumb idiot.
But also you're a slave.
Yeah, of course you're a slave. If you try to act out, they're going to kill your dad right in front of you. They're going to cut his friggin' head off right in front of you. So what do you want? Like it's not just as simple as going, we're done being slaves, I think. So
But she is kind of a slave herself, because she's like an assistant to the queen to be.
She's been enslaved by Jackson Rathbone, and she's like, my life is my own. Not really, you're a slave. So you can't just, like, you had to sneak out to get to here to tell me that your life is your own. Doesn't really sound like your life is your own if you're sneaking around doing things.
Nope, not whatsoever. She doesn't control her fate 100% at all.
Oh, no. And then for no reason, Samson has to fight a lion.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Just a lion. Footage of a lion that is clearly in a zoo. Like, you can see the fence of the cage behind the lion as it's walking around. And then a big puppet head attacks Samson, and he butchers it. This is where he gets his taste for blood, when he kills the lion, and he's like, I could kill anything.
Yeah. You think he'd make friends with the lion and have like a pal throughout this movie? That would have been fun. A lion pal?
Oh, yeah, like a Abu type of situation.
Yeah, like an Agigi.
Yeah, exactly. As if there was an Agigi and a whatever the hell the rest of them are called. I don't remember.
I wonder if I ever get a new cat. If,
Anunnaki!
My wife will let me name our cat Agigi.
Get two. Name one Anunnaki, name one Agigi.
It would be really weird if somebody got that reference if they were over.
She would go,
oh, like the Watchers.
How do you spell either of those names? And you go, I don't know. I am not
hey,
sure.
There's a lot of G's and a lot of Y's, and I'm here for it.
Igigi. So
eyes, G's, O, I's.
Eyes, G's, O, I's. Samson butchers this lion and then rips something out of it, and then this riddle is utter horseshit that he comes up with, by the way.
Yeah, it's two non sequiturs that you would have to know him personally to understand. That's not what a riddle is at all.
Nope.
It should be logically solved. But like, there is the one scene of him killing the lion, and then I swear they go to like some other bullcrap scene.
They do.
And then they come back,
yes.
and he like happens upon the lion later, and it's all rotten, and he pulls out this thing and starts eating it and goes, oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't understand. So yeah, the other scene they cut to is Delilah, who is Jackson Rathbone's like concubine or whatever.
Uh-huh.
She's like the girl that Samson likes works for her. And so she's like, hey, Jackson, let this woman marry Samson, and then Samson will be your buddy. Like, if you let these two marry, then he's going to be like, not in your debt, but like he will like you. That'll be good points in your eyes for him. So let him do it. And he goes, okay, sure. Let him get married. Whatever. That's fine. And yeah, why wouldn't it be?
Well, make love, not Warcraft. But he wants to kill Samson.
Well, yeah, of course. He's trying to lull him into a sense of safety here. So
yeah, of course. Frick this.
So Samson goes back to this rotten lion and like pulls like a honeycomb out of it or something. Yeah. Like, it's very unclear what he's doing at that moment.
Yes, like through context and information you get later, the whole, riddle challenge, you get to find out what it is. But
you
have
don't.
No idea.
No, you don't get to find out what it is, because nobody says it. They just say the clever little thing that helps them remember what the answer is, but nobody ever says the answer to this riddle. I don't know what the answer is.
It's honeycomb.
No, how can it be? That doesn't make any sense. We'll get to it.
Well,
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Let's get to it. First, we got the wedding. So they're going to have the wedding between Samson and Tang. And while they're at the wedding, first of all, Jackson Rathbone tricks Samson into drinking wine. Again, Samson, you're a stupid, dumb idiot. This man goes, drink this. I swear it's not wine. And he goes, okay. And then he drinks and goes, this is wine. Yeah, man. So
that's
what?
One down.
One down. Also, maybe two down, because you pulled honeycomb out of a dead lion. So you touched the dead.
I think it means specifically humans.
Oh, well, hey, God, those rules are pretty vague. Maybe tighten them up a little. Maybe get rid of them entirely. If you're going to give this man
tighten the
powers.
Screws.
Yeah. So, so they're at the wedding. Tricks him into drinking wine. What an idiot. But then Jackson Rathbone's like, why don't we have a riddle competition? And because porn and the internet didn't exist back then, this was considered fun for people. So this seems like a fun thing to do at a wedding. Let's have a riddle competition.
Well, the prince knows that Samson is dumb. He's a dumb man.
Yeah.
And he wants to humiliate him at the dinner that he's throwing for Samson for his marriage.
Right. Which, like, just don't be a dick for one night,
Yeah.
Jackson Rathbone. You're doing this to curry favor with this guy. Maybe don't treat him like the idiot he is at his own wedding.
He wants to destroy Samson.
At night I come without being called. By day I'm lost without being stolen. What am I?
What was your thoughts? Did you know the answer?
I thought it was like sleep.
I thought it was the night.
So okay.
And I think both of those kind of work.
Yeah, but the answer is a star, which works. Like that makes sense. Yeah. So
It holds true.
It holds true. But then Samson goes, I've got a better riddle for you. And in fact, I challenge all of your men to solve this riddle.
You challenge 30 men to a riddle?
30 men? Like he's like the indignity of it.
That is a literal line from this movie. It's so out of place and weird.
And the riddle, the stakes for the riddle are if they can't figure out Samson's riddle, they have to give him all of their tunics, 30 tunics.
32.
If they win, Samson has to give them 30 tunics or they're going to kill his wife.
But why would they want tunics? Like, get something else.
I don't know.
You already have.
Because it would be an impossible thing to fulfill anyway, because his village is poor. They don't have 30, like, tunics to spare, so...
Yeah, and it has to be Philistine, like, army tunics, apparently.
Exactly. And so now we get Samson's riddle, which is, out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. And I went... What the fuck is that? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so the two answers are a lion and honey.
No. That doesn't it doesn't make any sense.
Well, it makes sense, but it's not a riddle.
Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. So the answer you're saying is a honeycomb.
Yeah. That's what he got out of that lion.
But nobody says that in the movie.
No. Yeah, he answers the riddle and he says the lion.
No.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He answers the riddle. No, you're wrong. Listen to what I'm saying. Samson is talking to a woman and he says, she's like, that's a really impossible riddle that you gave there, Samson. And he goes, no, it's all good. It's what is, like Samson goes, think about this. What is sweeter than honey and stronger than a lion?
Yeah, and those are the two answers.
What is sweeter than honey and stronger than a lion? With a question mark at the end. Those aren't the answers.
Her the answers in the form of a question.
No, he's not. He's giving her vague hints at the answer. What is stronger than a lion and sweeter than honey? Like the answer's love or something like that. It's some metaphysical thing.
No, that is the answer because that's what the prince repeats to him, and he wins the bet.
Yeah, but that's not the answer. That doesn't make any sense. He says, out of the eater, something to eat. Which of the answers is that?
Out of the eater, that's the lion.
Out of the eater, something to eat is the question. It's not lion. You don't get a lion out of a lion.
Yeah.
Out of the strong, something sweet. Okay, maybe that's honey.
Yeah.
But
I'm not saying it makes sense.
It's a bullshit riddle. It's a bullshit bad riddle from a time when riddles were there everywhere and they couldn't even come up with a good one.
Well, did you try to look this riddle up? I didn't.
What's sweeter than honey? Like the way he says that is it sounds like that's something that's sweeter than honey and stronger than a lion is what the answer to the riddle is what he's saying. That's what he's saying. He's not saying the answers are a lion and honey because that doesn't make any sense and it doesn't answer either of the questions.
Well, yeah, but then when the prince repeats that to him, he says that's the answer to the riddle and he has to go get some tunics.
He says, "Oh." As if the guy figured it out, but he should have been like, okay, so then what is that then? What's stronger than a lion and sweeter than honey? What is that then?
But I don't think he prodded further because he got his answer that he was looking for because he came up with a dumb riddle.
You're a stupid idiot, Samson. You should have just
I
said,
agree.
when is a door not a door? When it's a jar. That's what you should have said, Samson. That would have been a better riddle.
I like the hole in the barrel one.
What's the hole in the barrel one?
What can you put in a barrel that's lighter than air or something like that, and you can see through it, all
actually,
that sort of thing.
I have the answer
Yeah,
for
it's a
that.
hole.
I have the answer. It's this.
SAMSON SIMPSON.
Anyways, to come down to a riddle challenge, I found this very weird. This is very weird to see in our day and age.
Something to eat out of the strong, something sweet. I'm looking this up because this riddle haunted me. I hate it. I'm sorry I'm getting so mad. I'm getting worked up legit because I hate this riddle so much. The Bible is so stupid. Stories like this
you
are
want
so
an answer
stupid.
that isn't there.
Yeah, I want an answer that's an answer.
Yeah, but it isn't there.
The answer is honey from the lion's carcass. That's what the answer is, apparently.
Yeah.
But that's not what he says.
That is what he says. That's exactly what he says.
No, he doesn't. He says, what's stronger than a lion and sweeter than honey? That's not saying honey from a lion's carcass. Those are different things.
Well, that's, I mean, same as far as this script is concerned.
Oh, so stupid. The Bible, you're so stupid. The things you
is
say.
this riddle from the Bible?
This story's from the Bible. This is a biblical
Well,
thing.
yeah, but they had to
Yes.
expound.
No, this
stuff.
riddle is from the Bible. This is all of this is from the Bible, pretty much. Like anything that sounds like a dumb quote that someone would say, that's from the Bible for sure.
I think it's very, smart.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I got all worked up. This riddle infuriates me, as most riddles do, because most riddles are stupid. Most riddles are like, oh, I fly by night, but I sleep during the day. What am I? And people go like, the wind. And they go, sure, whatever. Who cares? There's a million correct answers, but that's not the one I wanted to hear. So
That's not the one I wanted to hear.
So anyway, Samson owes 30 tunics now, or else his wife's going to get got. So we
get to see the first big murder.
Oh, he's so excited to murder. And I do love that there are 3 Hebrew women, presumably Hebrew women, that have been captured by this small army that Samson butchers. And he's like, I'm here to help you. And then he's just like, right in front of these women, just crushing dudes' heads with his hands and just ripping people in half. And these women are like, oh my God.
This one man? I mean, he is saving them and killing the people that have perpetrated crimes against them.
But they definitely are more afraid of him at the end than they were of the 30 men that were perpetrating crimes against them.
Yeah, how could you not? You just saw one man rip 30 people apart that are in armor and have weapons.
And people went, I can't believe he killed 30 men. And they went, buckle up. Just wait till you see how many he kills next. His bloodlust can't be satiated.
This is like the first act in a 5-act murder slog.
And it's dominoes. He tipped the first one over and went 30 men. And then he went, I bet I could kill, 10 times that next time.
Well, the women run off, and he's like, no, I need help taking off these tunics because I can't touch the dead. Well, you kind of murdered all of them with your hands, so you kind of already did touch the dead.
Well, they weren't dead when he was touching them. They were certainly dead once he was done touching them, they were dead, but not initially.
I mean, there's a moment of impact that might be, someone might have died at that moment of impact when there's still death touch, you know?
The first guy he punches, who flies like 40 feet, is definitely killed on impact, like killed on punch. That guy is killed instantly. So, but this is what I mean, that these are dumb rules, that God's like, I'm going to make you jacked and a super killer, but you're not allowed to touch dead people.
No,
well, at what point?
Not once.
At what point does my murder not count as death? I don't know. But
the line is very blurred, and he doesn't even have his brother around him all the time to help him with the dead.
That's right. So back at the reception, Rathbone's girl, Delilah, is shocked that he would betray Samson, but This guy's like a sniveling worm man. And he's always, from the minute we met him, it was like, oh, this guy's a dirty little scumbag. He's a little Grima worm tongue. And she's like, I can't believe you would do that. Well, then you don't know him, Delilah.
He's a bowl of creamy wheat with a silver tongue.
You're Whoopi Goldberg at the start of Sister Act, Delilah. That's who you are. I can't believe this casino owner's a bad man.
And so is Rathbone.
Well, yeah, he's a casino owner.
Yeah.
So Samson is like, he gives all the tunics, and they're like, hey, these are all covered in blood. Like, who did you have to kill to get these tunics? And he's like, a contingent of your soldiers, dummy.
Yeah.
And they go, get out of here.
Hole.
Like, Rathbone's like, you can't get married now because you left before the ceremony was complete, so you can't get married now. And he's like, what?
Well, going out and murdering a whole platoon of soldiers and then coming back with 30 tunics takes a couple of days. You're not going to get that done right away.
No, you got to strip all the dead bodies. It's a whole process. Does not touching the dead, like, does that count as tunics as well? Or is it just the skin of the dead you're not allowed to touch?
It's probably skin, but you got to get down into the skin.
Yeah, you got to dig out their prosthetics and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So they say, too late, so sorry, you lose anyways.
Mm-hmm. And then the hero of this movie does the worst thing I've ever seen a hero do in a movie, in that to get Rathbone's attention, Samson finds a cave full of foxes, lights them all on fire, and releases them into the food fields, the wheat fields. The wheat, of course, wheat. So Samson is like, give me back my wife. And meanwhile, there's foxes screaming on fire, like relighting all this food on fire. You're the hero, Samson.
Yeah. And the prince is like, yeah, I'll give you your wife already.
Yeah, and does he ever?
Throws her off the castle walls.
And her dad.
Yeah.
Throws him into the fire, dead. Just dead. See you later. Smell you
later.
later.
Third of this movie in, one of the characters you think is going to be a main protagonist throughout this movie, gone.
Dead. Gone. See you later. Oh, are you talking about the
new
foxes?
Age thinking.
I thought these foxes were going to be a major player coming up in this movie, and then they just all got lit on fire and burned to death, these innocent foxes that didn't do anything to harm anyone, and certainly weren't the cause of stupid Samson's problems.
Yeah, he finds this cave, and it's a beautiful moment with all these beautiful creatures, and then he just lights them all on fire his own selfish needs.
Yeah, to be like, give me back my wife. It's like, what, like... Was that the best solution you could come up with? You're an idiot. Light the fields on fire. just do that. Like, it'll accomplish the same. Just run through the fields with a torch. It'll do the same thing.
Like, get your village to help you or something.
Oh, they all hate Samson in that village.
They're never around. Like, you think him and his brother Gideon, which I think is an even more famous Bible person.
Gideon? I don't think Gideon is more famous than Samson. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he is.
Well, I thought he was going to be there more often, being more of a sidekick, but he really isn't.
Yeah, he's certainly no... what was Hercules' buddy's name?
Robin.
Nightwing.
What was Hercules' little buddy name?
Like, I know Xena had Gabrielle... But what was Hercules?
Xena had Gabrielle.
Yeah, what was Hercules' Gabrielle's name? It doesn't matter. Sorry, listeners. I know you're screaming at your podcast right now going, it's... Scream louder. We can't hear you.
It was probably Jonah or something.
Yes, probably. So, yeah, they kill his wife, and then, like, years go by? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is this when the years go by? No.
No.
No. No. We got crazy stuff.
The big murder.
Yeah. So, right. So Samson is then later on the next day, he's confronted by Rathbone and some of his army. And so Samson hulks out and is just like, picks up the jawbone of like an ox, I think, or a donkey or something like that, and just smashes it over Rathbone's face and then goes, I'm going to murder an entire army of people.
Yeah. Like
It's-
1,000 people just coming in waves at this one dude.
Yeah. And this is the scene where he keeps saying nice as he's killing people. He keeps going, nice, nice, nice. And he's just smashing dudes' heads in.
And check out that bod. Like, you finally get to see his bod.
Oh.
And he's beautiful.
He's beautiful. He's got a ripped, glistening. It looks like his body's covered in colored grease. He's just glistening and tanned and just looking so good. And yeah.
He's so dominant when he's fighting. I was surprised that they even had a part of the fight where, like, they kind of overwhelm him for a bit, and he's like, "I give it up to God's will," and then he like throws off 100 Philistines.
Yep. Samson has some like cool tough guy lines in this movie. I gotta say, there's like all these soldiers charging at him, ready to kill him, and Samson just quietly looks up at heaven and goes, "Lord, hear my prayer," and then just butchers people. And I'm like, that's a pretty cool tough guy line to say right before you kill people. "Lord, hear my prayer," and then John Wick a bunch of dudes. It's pretty slick.
I figured it might be a whalebone. That was my. It probably isn't, but I think a whalebone would be cool.
It would be cool, but I think Billy Zane says that it was a donkey's jawbone. Pretty sure that's what he says like later
That's
on.
Gruel.
That's Gruel. Yeah. Yeah. Samson. Okay, we've been dancing around the number of people Samson kills in this scene. So earlier he killed 30 men, and people were like, "Oh my God." In this scene, he kills 1,000 men barehanded. At the end of the fight, he's literally standing on a huge pile of bodies of all the men he's just killed. He's fighting them on a mountain. He's throwing guys off of like 10,000-foot mountainsides. Like it's crazy. This scene goes on for like 10 minutes.
It's an insane amount of murder. It's hard to comprehend one person just destroying that many families. And credit to the movie, it does kind of come back to haunt him because he's kind of known as a legend in the Philistines' eyes as this person who destroyed like 1,030 homes.
Yeah. He ruined so many people's lives because the people who control his people are mean to them. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to butcher your people then. How does that sound? These people, these soldiers, granted, they're all soldiers. It's not like he's killing innocent people, but it's still just like, wow, you really wrecked, like you've ruined generations of families now, Samson Simpson.
He must have cut the population down by like a quarter. This is not a time with a lot of people.
And still they want more wheat from his people. And he's like, I just took care of your wheat problem. I just killed your whole army. Now you don't have to feed them. Done.
He also burned all the wheat, so maybe that was like an equal.
Yeah, that's true. Why wasn't this fight just a shot-for-shot remake of the Burly Brawl from The Matrix Reloaded? That's what I want to know, because that's essentially what it is, even down to the hero getting dogpiled on and then throwing everyone off of him. Like, that's just Neo. That's just The Matrix Reloaded. I want to see a scene where Samson grabs a pole, sticks it in the ground, and then runs like sideways on it, kicking Philistines in the face. That's what I want to see.
I don't think they had the cameras for it, but they did have cameras for watching a bunch of people explode off of a human.
Oh, yeah. Cool shot. Like, really cool. This was my favorite scene in the movie when he butchered 1,000 men. It was awesome.
It was great. And he kills 1,000 men, but not the prince. No,
the one guy he should have killed. Yeah. He was like, I'll just hit him in the face. Man. Which, how did he survive that? Like, he took a jawbone at Samson's, like, he started by hitting Rathbone in the face with a donkey jaw. So you think that would have been a kill shot right away?
I think they imply kind of that God saves him for the story. I don't know.
Really? Well, maybe.
I don't know why God saves him, but he like there's like lightning and then he like and
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe then, huh? I one thing that I really loved about this fight is that Samson kills everyone. Like, there isn't a point where like the last 5 guys are just like, yeah, nah, we're not. We just watched you kill 995 of our friends. You know what? You got this one. You win. Yeah, I'm done. You win.
I would have been the guy faking his death under a pile of men for sure. You expect at least 5 of those.
Oh
dudes.
no, Samson went around with his jawbone and smashed in every head of every body laying there. He butchered.
Nice.
Yeah, nice, just smashing their heads in. This is the hero.
He really goes insane for a bit.
This guy's the hero of the story. It's like this scene. The scene where he lit the foxes on fire is like the scene in Drive when Ryan Gosling kills that guy in the elevator, and then he turns and looks at the woman that he's like in love with, and he looks like an insane person, and she's just like, "Oh no, what have I gotten myself into with this guy?" That's Samson butchering the Philistines.
Well, if it wasn't for the prince and Billy freaking Zane, the Philistines come off as like the innocents in this piece.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I kind of side with them a lot of the time.
I mean, those 30 guys were doing terrible things to those ladies.
We don't know that. We don't know what they were tied up and they were dirty, and that's all we know about the ladies, and they were scared. But that doesn't mean that those guys were doing anything untowards them.
It's very true.
We don't know what they were doing. I'll tell you what they weren't doing: butchering people with their bare hands in front of them.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's very fun.
But then, time goes by.
Yeah, I do love that Billy Zane's like, I don't believe that Samson killed all those men. And it's like, well, then who killed all these men? He's
not a god.
Nah,
Get out of here.
Nah, gods they're just symbols with no power. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Off to Egypt with you.
Yeah. So then many years go by.
Many years.
And many years go by, and then they decide to put the worst wigs I've ever seen on actors ever on all of the characters. Everybody gets a new wig.
Yeah. There's this little montage of like him going off to campaigns in Egypt, and this is happening in this time, and that's happening. And then you are like, okay, time is passing. That's interesting. And then you get confronted with a bunch of dudes with the worst fake beard.
Oh.
And you're like, couldn't you have put in like a little gray in there, or just like gotten some better beards? Like, you can see the glue.
Yeah. And like not only are the beards bad, but every character now has one. Like, everyone gets a new beard, and they're all terrible. And it's like, clearly people know how to shave in this time. Billy Zane doesn't have a beard or hair on his head. Somebody's shaving both those areas for him. So Samson, everyone grew a bad beard. They're all so bad.
And they're all kind of roughly around the same length. Like, it's just really like terrible.
They all have that, like, when, they all have, like, what looks like a straight, like, they look like if you looked at them from any other angle than straight on, you would see just, like, a flat, like, shelf that all the beards sit on. Like, there's just nothing behind the front of the beard. There's no underbeard or anything like that.
They just don't look natural in any sort of way possible.
No, they look like colored grease.
You obviously put millions upon millions of dollars into this movie, and you have this point in the movie where the movie probably should be over and the story should be done. But you have a timepiece, and the way you relate that time is these terrible long beards. Just doesn't fit.
No. And they already have long hair, but none of their hair gets longer. They just all grow bad beards. And his brother gets a worse wig. Like, Samson's wig for the first half of the movie isn't that bad. It looks pretty good for, like, it's just long black hair. But his brother's wig, who should have been played by Steve Zahn, let's be honest here. They wanted Steve Zahn. They couldn't get Steve Zahn, so they got this other guy. But
they wanted Steve Zahn and The Rock.
Oh, my God. And instead they went, you know what? We'll just get, like, the dollar store version of both of them.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So, terrible beards. I have that note written so many times here that, like, Samson, your beard looks terrible. But that's I only have that note up until Delilah cuts his hair, and then my notes change to, your new wig is the worst goddamn thing I've ever seen on a person, Samson.
You're right. The hair just, like, at specific moments and very, like, plot central moments, the hair just gets so bad.
Yeah, like, this movie is about hair. You feel like they'd spend some money on their hair, at least on his hair. Some.
like they got this fake beard from Walmart and somebody stuck it on in
Yeah.
the makeup department.
Yeah, with
And that's
double-sided
it.
tape. It's just double-sided tape holding it
Yeah.
on. If he talks too much, you see it like unhinged from his face.
Well, this was my note when we get confronted with the beards for the first time. I put, I guess aging is related by big fake beards. This village blows.
Yeah, true. Yeah, everyone has just about an inch wide line of hair that runs down their face, and that's where all their hair grows out of in a straight line.
And then an inch or two of tape that you see coming out of that.
And they all have tapeworms, so there's a lot of stuff going on.
Why wasn't this movie over at? Like, you kill 1,000 people, that should be close to the end.
No, that's the rising action. That's not even the climax.
Oh, freaking rising action.
So Samson he goes to Billy Zane to threaten him, and Billy Zane's like, "Hey man, I'll make a deal with you. How about this? Either you stay and I kill all your people, or you disappear and I promise I won't kill all your people." And
wink, wink.
And Samson goes, "That's a good deal."
This tale sucks, man.
Yeah,
this character is dumb.
Even watching this, I was expecting there to be a moment where I would be like, oh, that's the lesson in this story. That's what this parable is about. I don't know what the lesson of the Samson parable is. Like, I guess the lesson is don't make bad deals with everyone, with God, with Billy Zane. Just read the fine print. Make sure you're not agreeing to stupid nonsense. Like, you can be a strong guy, but you can't cut your hair, and you can't touch dead bodies, and you can't drink wine, but I'm going to give you the power to kill 1,000 people with your bare hands.
The feeling I got from this movie was that this is some 3-page story in the Bible about how if you give your will to God, he'll make you strong.
Yeah.
And then somebody had to create a Hollywood script from that, and they sucked at it.
But I think the beats of this movie are the beats of the story. Like, he does do all the stuff that he does in this movie, I think, up to the end, I'm pretty sure. So, I don't know. But
filling space, I feel like they don't do it well, like the beards.
Yeah, exactly. So, Billy Zane's like, get the hell out of here. And Samson's like, all right. So he's got to like sneak out of the city. He's like, oh, don't worry. God will protect me. I'll get out of the city, no problem. Delilah goes, okay, sounds good, but because she's helping him for some reason. And she's like, okay, that sounds good. Good luck. Let's split up. I'll meet you at this place. Sam's like, okay, God will protect me. Don't even worry. She leaves. Someone immediately goes, hey, there's Samson. And then the whole city's after him. Like, everyone's after him at that point.
Yeah, well, they killed 1,000 of their brothers, sons, and husbands.
True. But like, just kill your way out of this one, Samson. Like,
well,
you've killed your way out of this kind of situation before, so
he doesn't want to kill the innocent civilians. He wants to lift outdoors and show him his true strength.
He does push a door down, which is pretty impressive.
Like, we're talking big door. We're talking big gate door.
Big door.
Yeah. Doors don't mean piss.
Right?
He says that before he like takes it off the hinges.
Yeah, he goes, Lord, hear my prayer. Doors don't mean piss. And then he goes,
I think God like yells down, you mean hinges? It's all about the hinges.
I do love that 2 soldiers approach Samson and are like, hey, you're under arrest. And it's like, yeah, a couple of years ago, you buried your whole family because of this guy. So what do you think you're going to do? Unnamed soldier number 1003? What are you going to do?
Yeah, it's definitely an Austin Powers 3 moment. Gold member.
I love it. Yeah, Samson's dinger is made out of gold. Is dipped in gold.
That would have been a cool twist.
if it turned out this was the origin story of Goldmember.
Yeah. I love gold.
I mean, that was Simpson's catchphrase.
Yeah.
He kept going, I love gold.
And nice.
And save me from myself.
Delilah, I owe you my wife.
I have this note at this point. I wish someone like this would come along again. Like, I wish that there was a Tim Tebow type, but for like strongman competitions. That there was like or like a UFC fighter or something, but someone who was always screaming things like, "Witness the power of the Lord!" and like, "Lord, hear my prayer!" as he's like fighting people or like lifting. Like, that would be hilarious if there was just like, why isn't there some jacked dude who just calls himself Samson and does Samson things now for the Lord?
What if it was like a Butterbean type person?
Oh my God, that would be even better. Oh, Samson and
Super
Butterbean.
religious Butterbean.
I would love that. A pious Butterbean, thank you.
Just the hugest cross tattoo on his belly.
Yeah, you bet. He's got crosses on each fist.
Yeah, well, crosses everywhere.
Of course. Well, he's
On
straight.
eyelids.
He's straight edge as frick, so he's got crosses all over his hands.
Yeah.
Samson. What happens to Sam? He gets knocked out somehow.
Yeah, I think the door takes him out.
Yeah, I think so. He rips his door off the hinges and then just like carries it away. And then passes out, wakes. Oh, he got shot with arrows. That's what happened.
Yeah,
He gets shot with arrows, and then like an idiot breaks the arrows off, leaving the arrowheads inside of his body with no way to get them out now.
Dumb decision, another number like 100 in this movie. And then I think he just passes out on a cliff.
I think so. But then Delilah comes and saves him, takes him to her village, and then
How? He's huge. How would she do that?
she said, "Lord, hear my prayer." And then she lifted Samson up. She got the strength of a mother whose child is trapped under a car or something and was like, "Oh, I have to save the Samson."
Yeah, and you think they're going to fall in love. Another Philistine.
Yeah, well, I mean, his brother definitely calls him out when Samson returns to the village. His brother's like, and Samson comes back to the village and then he takes off again. And his brother goes, "You leave again after weeks of way. Is it another Philistine?" And it's like, "Oh, got him."
Well, it is.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
He got
And
him.
it really screws up his entire life again.
Yeah, Samson is a dumb, stupid idiot, man. Like, he's a dummy person.
Well, apparently the prince knows 2 of the secrets, but he doesn't know the 3rd at this point. But he tells Delilah it's his hair.
I don't think he knows any of the secrets at this point. I think he just,
Oh.
I think Rathbone got him to drink wine because he's an asshole. I think he was just like, let's trick this straight edge guy into drinking wine. Wouldn't that be funny?
I mean, you might be right. I thought that was the whole plot.
I mean, I don't know how he would have learned those secrets. I guess it's not like Samson just goes around telling every dumb idiot out there how to defeat him. Oh wait, that's exactly what he does all the time.
It's very true.
So I think you're right.
Maybe he said it.
I probably
I don't
did.
know.
I can't drink wine. I can't touch dead bodies.
You're right, though, because maybe it's just the last one, and then he also tells Delilah that he's broken 2 of them.
And I think that's what it is. He's like, I got 3 rules. I've already broken 2 of them. So,
And she's like, well, what's the 3rd? Give me the 3rd.
well,
Give me the 3rd.
but here's the thing, though. She goes like, they're like having this flirty conversation. And she's like, as if there was anything that could bind you. And Samson goes, well, what if there was something that could bind me? It's like, what are you doing? don't do this.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah. She didn't ask. She wasn't asking for that information. She wants to bang you. You're like, what if I told you how to kill me instead? She's like, well, I guess.
But, I mean, he just tells her.
Yeah, well, I mean, geez. Like, she totally, once he says that there's like a 3rd rule, then she manipulates it out of him pretty easily. Like, she's like dropping things like, you say you love me, but you won't share your innermost secrets. Well, guess what? You shouldn't. You should like wait to tell everyone everything. I don't know. And then she hits him with, were there secrets with your dead wife? And it's like, come on, man. Your boyfriend killed my wife. Can you cut me some slack here?
It's very true.
Just hated it. I hated Delilah in this. Are we supposed to like Delilah? I don't
Well,
understand.
not at this point, because she betrays him. Like, she totally gives up the goose.
Yeah, she totally does. She goody got some.
Well, yeah, that night she cuts, or is this later where she
No,
cuts
it's that night. He tells her,
Yeah.
I can't cut my hair. And then she goes, I'm going to drug you and cut your hair. And he goes, oh, please don't.
Because you think before that she's coming from a genuine place of trying to help Samson and like get away from her previous life and make up for what she did previously, but no, she totally sells him out
Immediately. It
Yeah.
was like, yeah, okay, Jay Jackson, cut his hair. That's all you got to do, and then he's done.
Yeah, he's cream to eat too. He has no power after her, and his hair looks terrible.
Yeah, and I know he's still the strongest man you've ever seen, but literally a stiff breeze will blow him over once we take away God's strength from him. These are glamour muscles. They don't actually do anything. All of his he's just got biceps and pecs. That's his whole thing. He's glamour muscles.
Yeah, he has about as much power as like a Super Soaker 50. Like it's not even a 150.
It would be very funny if Samson was just like a giant guy with glamour muscles and like chicken legs, like just didn't work anything out and just had huge biceps and traps and pecs, and that's it. And then it would make sense that his powers were gone once God took him away.
Oh yeah, slice off those pecs.
Oh, forget about it.
But yeah, he's still super ripped, but apparently he's weak as water now.
Yeah, exactly. So she cuts his hair off, gives him a very nice bowl cut.
Oh, he looks like a bad caveman.
He looks like if a beetle became a caveman. Like if
Which did happen.
Like the OG first, like Meet the Beatles album Beatles. If those Beatles just kept growing their hair and then grew big beards, you'd go, oh, Samson. Okay.
Gruel big beards.
Yeah, gruel. So then Samson's super weak. He's got a terrible bowl cut. Jackson Rathbone shows up and just pokes his eyes out like it's nothing. Just stabs him in the eye with a sword and bye-bye to your eyes.
Heats the sword, so that's nice.
Cauterizes the wound. Very thoughtful of him, yeah.
Well, I think you can keep him alive after that.
Yeah.
If you just like stick a knife in somebody's eye, they'll probably die and bleed out.
Well, yeah, you got to cauterize the wound, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, oh, that would hurt to have your eyes poked out with a hot sword. Ah.
Like, gross. The fact that humans have experienced that throughout history just makes me really sad.
Oh, Samson's not real. He's not a real person. God isn't. None of this is real. This is all fairy tales. None of this is real. Don't worry.
I know, but there's got to be at least one person throughout human history that's had their like eyes poked out by like a hot knife.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah. I guarantee there's some meth head in Florida that's gouged his own eyes out with a hot knife for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, or some Egypt prince or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Either of those two.
Gerard Butler and Prince of Egypt, of course. Yeah.
While filming on set.
Sorry, Gods of Egypt. Different movie.
I like the movie.
Me too. It's dumb as frick, but it's fun.
Yeah,
It's more fun than
exciting.
this dumb movie. Yeah. So I love that they cut off his hair, they gouge his eyes out, and then Rathbone stands there like he's a friggin' Highlander, like absorbing power, but nothing's happening. Like you think, like why wouldn't his army just kind of laugh at him in that moment? Because like, boy, you really look like an idiot, bro. Do you think that you cut his hair and then God will go, and here are the powers of Samson. You can't drink wine or touch dead bodies or cut your hair now.
Well, you got to eat his heart at least. You can't just gouge out a man's eye. That's stupid.
Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. So,
honestly, he should have pulled out a honeycomb at the end and won.
Pulled it out of his butt, yeah.
And got the Samson powers.
Yeah. If Jackson Rathbone would have pulled a honeycomb out of Samson's butt and eaten it, he would have gotten the Samson powers.
That's at the end of the credits, that explanation.
Yeah, he's butt chugging honeycombs out of the strong, something sweet.
And that's the lesson.
That's the lesson. Samson has this great line, "Forgive me, once again I have failed." It's like, yep, that's all you seem to do is fail, because you're a dumb idiot.
You stink. Maybe he succeeded in Egypt. Oh no, Samson.
Samson didn't go to Egypt. No, Samson stayed home.
He did.
So then him and his brother get arrested, and because his brother like attacks to try to save Samson, and he gets immediately arrested, and they're like, "Get out of here, Steve Zahn." So now
finally they get to spend some time with each other.
And his brother becomes like feral while he's in prison. Like they're in prison for about 45 minutes, and his brother's just like climbing up the walls and is like, like just like in the corner with like no clothes on, just like this creepy, like, what happened to you? You were fine an hour ago.
Samson Simpson.
Samson, I stick to my story.
Yeah, as soon as you get Gideon in shackles, he becomes Jamaican.
Yeah, absolutely. He becomes Chet Hanks, of course.
It's a weird artistic swing, but I like it.
I do like that he keeps saying, "We had the Golden Globes, yeah." It's pretty good. Here's the thing. I'm not one to talk about a Jamaican accent. I recorded a beautiful cover of Informer by Snow, so
Yeah.
I know all about accents.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I'm just going to start off up MLB The Show, and
yeah,
you can...
get it fired up. We're almost at the end here, so we'll get you... Don't worry, we'll get you back to MLB The Show in no time.
Yeah, I'm already there, so that's good.
Delilah shows up. I started referring to Samson as Samson the Stupid in my notes, and it made it a lot better.
Funner, yeah.
Definitely funner.
More fun.
Billy Zane gets totally murked.
Yeah, but I think he's happy about it.
Yeah, my son, the king, and then he
Yeah.
dies.
I think his point of being terrible to his son is to get him to prove that he's a real man and a real king by murdering his own father. And that's the only way you can truly become king.
Yeah, don't mess around with the wolf pack, or you might end up in a body bag, you know?
Yeah, he knows he's going to get murdered eventually. That's his job, is to make a murderer and to have him become king.
Of course.
It's an honest, beautiful parental moment in this movie.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example of that in nature, but that's the only one I got, so.
Titties, titties, yum, yum, yum.
So we cut back to the jail, and Delilah comes and is like, I'm here to pay for your release, Samson. And he's like, that's cool. Release my brother instead. And she's like, okay. And then
Let's go.
And I like that she's like, I will always love you, Samson. And he doesn't respond with going, yeah, thanks for ruining my life and cutting off my hair. like, great. Your love means so much to me. Thank you, Delilah, for always loving me. You betrayed me less than 24 hours ago. I'm glad you love me.
After just seeing you again for the first time in years, you totally fell in love with me and then boned me within a couple hours.
You couldn't wait to cut my hair into this haircut I can't even see. I can't even see how bad my hair looks right now, Delilah. That's what you've done to me. I had beautiful hair before. It went down to my bum. Now, I look like a friggin' beetle, like an impersonator. I'm a beetle with a bad beard.
Beetle with a bad beard, bum.
Beetle with a bad beard. So...
We really lose it towards the end. This was a long one, guys. How dare you force us to do this?
Yeah. So she releases his feral brother. Samson grabs his brother and is like, brother, go gather an army and lay siege to the city. Meanwhile, there's a guard just standing next to them listening, holding the chain for his brother. So why wouldn't that guy go, hey, they're going to attack the city? Heads up. I literally just heard him say it to him 1 second ago.
He's got to go home soon. It's almost the clock out time.
Yeah, he's, my wife's making a stew. That's all we eat back then, is just big pots of stew. So can't wait.
I love building out storylines for minimal characters.
It makes sense. Why not give them a life too?
They do have lives too.
Yeah, why not give them a life so that we can feel better when it's snatched away by Samson?
That'd be weird if a movie explained every little detail of the murdered families.
That would be interesting. I think that's called true crime. I think that's what those are podcasts called, true crime podcasts.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's do a true crime.
Hey, we are doing a true crime. Who murdered 1,000 men?
Samson.
Samson, the Hebrew fighter from the pits, yeah.
Done.
Samson finally gets it and goes, my strength is now your strength, God. And it's like, it always was, bro. It never wasn't that. So
now he's confirmed it.
But that's kind of been the deal from the day you got the strength. Is God was like, yeah, your strength is my strength. I'm giving it to you. And now he's like, oh, I get it now. You were giving it to me. Oh.
You got to ask for it if you're going to get it.
Exactly. And so King Rathbone brings Samson up to basically show him off like King Kong, like in front of all the people. Yeah, they string him up and whip him. And then Samson just gets loose and pushes the pillars down and collapses the whole palace. There.
Well, he gets his god strength and he's like, oh, pillars, those might be weight bearing. What if they're not, though?
Exactly. They're just pillars in the throne room. I doubt those specific pillars, if you knock them down, would take down the entire castle. That seems like a huge oversight in the builder.
That'd be really funny if Rathbone was just like, those aren't weight bearing, you idiot, and the movie just ends.
Or if like you see him pushing and then the camera pans up and there's nothing on top of the pillars. Like they're just decorative. They're not attached to anything on top. And Samson's just like, oh, I'll show you the power of God. And they go, okay, now cut his head off. The end.
Oh man, I think we know these pillars all too well.
Yeah, I love that we come up with like a life story for these pillars as well. We see Delilah get crushed by a falling rock, which is pretty hardcore. Like, you see a rock just crush her body in half, and you're like, oh my god, PG-13.
Well, that's when Samson says his last nice.
Yeah, nice. Couldn't see it, but I heard it. It was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, before he ultimately gets crumpled as well.
Yeah, the castle collapses, and thus ends the tale of Samson the Stupid.
Yeah. God gave us Samson.
And tonight we dine in hell. And then they razz the city. And then we get to the ending, which got me so freaking hype. And I can't believe you didn't pick up on it.
Okay, so there is something that happened.
Yes. So the brothers, they're like, oh, Samson inspired us. And there were many battles to save our land against these people. And like there was lots, the battles raged for years after this, and it all came down. It all led up to one young boy named David fighting a Goliath, and I was like, oh shit! And the last shot is like a boy putting a rock into a sling, and there's a giant man across the field from ready to kill him. I want to see that movie. Give us David versus Goliath. That was a cool one.
Well, they were teasing it, I'm assuming.
That's what it was.
How old was this boy?
Well, you don't see his face. But if I had to guess based on his body, I'd say he's probably a teenager, 14, 15.
Yeah. It'd be cooler if they made David like 7.
Yeah, when I studied the Bible, that's who David was to me, a child, like a sheep herder. He was just like a kid who, had a slingshot.
Well, that murdered a man.
Yeah, one man, and then got we just watched someone kill 1,030, not to mention all the people he killed in that palace, including himself and, King Rathbone.
Yeah, but this man didn't do anything. He didn't even sign up for the army. He was just walking by.
Who? David?
No, Goliath was just walking by.
No. He was a bad mother fricker. He was up for that army forever.
I thought he was just cool.
He
like
is
a
cool.
barber or something.
Well, yeah, he was the army barber.
Do you think they had tall barbers back then because they didn't have adjustable chairs?
Yeah, for sure. I think if you all were a tall man back in that day, you were either picking fruit off of trees or cutting hair.
Yeah, you'd have to have some of them picking trees for sure.
And here's the thing. In Samson's village, there was no tall men according to all those haircuts. Am I right?
Hey! We love you.
This riddle doesn't make any goddamn sense. I hate this riddle.
Yeah,
boys, I hate it.
No, you gotta let it go.
Toilets now. Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the straw, something sweet.
Down.
It's
boys.
Obama. Awful. And John to toilets now. The worst riddle I've ever heard. And I've read Stephen King books.
I like you boom boom down. Stephen King's The Riddle.
Like, imagine if in the new Batman movie, the Riddler is like, riddle me this, Batman. Out of the strong, something sweet. Out of the eater, something to eat. And Batman...
Robin!
Robin, start the fire on the back of my car. I'm going to stick the Riddler's head in there. I'm done with these riddles. These riddles are nonsense.
Also, he's something sweet.
Oh, he's something sweet.